Hello all. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to stealthily sniff data on a wireless network. For this, let me first illustrate the plot of this attack. Here, as you could see, we have a PC that we own and to which we have a wireless adapter connected, and this wireless adapter must support both packet injection and monitor mode. If you would like to buy a wireless adapter that is of an affordable price and you want to first test that adapter and how it works, you could refer to the link in description. I've already made a video on that. And for this attack to work, you also need to have a additional device which you own, and you could use any device that could make an access point. I mean a hotspot. You could even use your mobile. The reason being, you could use your mobile hotspot as a bait for other devices to connect. And the reason why I'm calling it as a bait is that you already know the SSID and password of it. So if you allow other devices to connect to your network, I mean, you have to lure the other devices, the persons, to get into your network some way or the other. So for every attack to work, there should be a manual effort in that. So get it done by yourself. Or even if you know any um device uh, device ne- uh, device credentials in a organization you're working in, you could use that also as a bait, so that other devices would be connecting to that without your permission or without your suggestion. Now the way this works is, your mobile would be turning on hotspot and to which the other devices get connected. There should be at least one device connected for this attack to. Now the moment you turn on your mobile hotspot and other devices get connected to it, you could go for many attacks, which much of them would be like sending deauthentication requests to them and then forcefully disconnecting them from the network and then having the WPI handshake from that. But that would not be considered as a stealthful mode. It would be a little bit suspicious, so we are not going to do that. We are not going to, we are of course going to perform aircraft uh, commands, but we are not going to perform a replay or beside commands for that. So let me head to the virtual machine, open up the terminal and type in iwconfig to see the available interfaces that support the wireless extension. And here, as you could see, this interface named WLH00E02D so on would support the has the wireless extension and is enabled in managed mode. So we need to switch this mode to another mode named monitor mode, and for that we have a command airmon ng start and the interface name. And before that, in order to not have any conflicts between these interfaces, you have to restart. It is preferred to restart the network manager. So for that, we have to type in service network manager restart, and as soon as you hit enter, all the connections for this virtual machine get disconnected and they automatically reconnect. For that, it could take 10 seconds or something like that. And if you are running Kali Linux, you could straight away type in this command. If you are using Parrot, you need to first switch to root and then you have to type in this command. I have switched to root. I have typed in su and enter the password, and I have made a folder to in order to not mess up with every other capture file that I have done before. And in that folder, I have run this command airmon start and the interface name. It automatically renames itself to WLAN 0 mon, and as you could see here, monitor mode is enabled on that interface. And then type in the command aerodump ng and the interface name WLAN 0 mon. and then we could see the available networks nearby. This is the ESSID of the network. I'm already connected. This is also my Ethernet interface, and I have used my mobile named Akil Phenom, and to which other devices get connected. So this is essentially the bait. Um Note its BSS ID and the channel, and then we have to switch to we have to type in another command named aerodump ng bs double hyphen bssid, and copy paste that MAC address and double slash essid and the name of the ensure that you have typed this, also type these quotations so that the spaces would not be considered as an extra command, appended command, and type in hyphen c channel, that's the channel number as you have noted above, that this is 11, and the w, the file name, or you could even change your destination folder also. This is the file name, and this is the interface. Click enter and it creates a capture file on that name Akil Phenom 1.cap, and this could take several minutes because it's not sending any deauthentication requests or and forcefully disconnecting them and reconnecting them in order to capture the WPA handshake. And I have done this in stealth mode so that it would not send any commands. I mean, it would not send any forcing requests to capture the handshake. So it took about 22 minutes for me to get the handshake. If it was BESSID command, it could take about 2 minutes to get the WPA handshake. But as we are doing this in stealth mode, I mean, not using any not creating any suspicion, it could take minutes to hours. So be patient. And here is as you could see at the end, before I got this handshake, or at the moment I got this WPA handshake, there came a node called EAPOL. Now we could use this as a filter in the. We need the WPA handshake to decrypt the Wi-Fi data captured. So once after you got the WPA handshake, you could either close that terminal or put that running for furthermore captures. Have saved these capture files in this folder. I have done 3 such. Let us first open Wireshark. Head to preferences in edit section, and under this go to protocols, open up and search for IEEE 802.11. Under this enable the decryption, checkmark this enable decryption and click on edit. In this you could add a key type, and you could either use WPA password or WPA PSK. As you know the password of your SSID, you could select this, and I'm going to remove this. Yeah. Okay, add this, and the key type would be the password followed by SSID followed by password. Sorry, password followed by SSID. Let me type it in. Write it in this way: password followed by a semicolon, a colon, and SSID name, and click on OK. Click OK, and then go to File, open up or import. Yeah, open up and open the capture file. And there are many number of display filters in this Wireshark. To know the credentials of a HTTP server, from a HTTP server, you have to type in HTTP request.method is equals to post. And there's another method called request.method is equals to get, and this would give the links that you have redirected in that session, that mobile, and this gives the credentials that are posted. Like if you have subscribed to any newsletters, I have taken that as an example. And once after you type in that and click enter, you're going to get the filtered results where you have posted the credentials. So after clicking enter, you are going to get these results. In this is the GeoNet. This belong to Geo network. So uh, this would return us the IPv6 address of our device. So we do not need that. And coming to this, these two addresses look like a proper source and destination address. So this is under HTTP protocol. So we are going to get the credentials in a plain text format. Whenever you click on one packet or one packet raised, you could see that hypertext transfer protocol is highlighted because the filter that we applied belongs to HTTP. So in order to follow this raw data in a understandable format, click on right click on it and click on TCP stream and follow section. So this basically gives whatever we typed in that page, and as you could see, these are all the uh, blanks filled in that page. So on scrolling down furthermore, you are going to get the email, and also this is the region India, and this is the username, this is the Gmail, and on further scrolling you could get more and more credentials. So let me skip this for now. And you have another many number of display filters. I'm going to post a PDF for that in the. Now I have typed in another filter, that is get method instead of post. This on clicking enter, this would not give any username and credentials, but this would give the profile statistics, web profile statistics. I mean the sites you have opened up during that session, uh, and also the his routine behaviors. If you observe him for a certain amount of time, you could see that people can even you could understand that people when people have opened certain apps like Snapchat and everything during school hours also. So this is a very interesting filter. And let me open up another capture file. What I want to demonstrate from this is that you could use the once after you got the WPA handshake, you could use the capture file in at any time. It doesn't mean that you have to still get connected to that particular network. Once after we got the WPA handshake, you could just avoid it. But that would not result in furthermore captures of the data. Now, all the process that I have mentioned here is called deep packet inspection. Because it is called so because every packet, when we oversee the packet, we could only see the source and destination IP address. That's it. But when coming to deep packet inspection in Wireshark, we are going to get furthermore details, not just the source and destination IP address, its protocol, its length, its info, and all related stuff. So as you could see here, the student has visited his SEM-wise attendance details from yeah, student service new. And on furthermore investigation, we could see that the host is erp.vc.ac.in. So this belongs to Vasavi College of Engineering, and it's my college. Uh, yes, there are another several filters like DNS. Let's see what we get here. See, it all depends on the uh, user. If he hasn't opened anything, we are not going to get anything. And here, as you could see, it looks a little bit sensible, the source and destination IP. And in this, we could see that I shall expand this. What basically DNS does is it would convert the IP address into its corresponding host name, which would be more convenient for us to look for. Here it is. safebrowsing.google.com, and also here he has opened Google and indosource.com. So you could see the website he has opened, and which actually could reveal an interesting fact if anyone copies during online exams. If he has if there is no tab switching monitor, uh, we could open up we could first initialize a Wireshark, and then we could see if the person opened any other tab that and search for the answers, like he typed in something in the Google. We could know from this. So this would be very interesting filter, and there are many other filters which you could try on your own, and the link would be in the description. If you like my video, please like and share my video, and also for further more updates, please do subscribe to my channel.